you get here?
What do I do for a living and how did I get started? I started as a instructional designer and trainer. These days I'm still training, but I'm training cloud technology, and I've been doing that for the past 5 years. Now, what does that mean exactly? That means that I help companies and individuals learn how to utilize what's called in some circles utility computing, which means you pay for the resources that you use when you use them. It's a fairly new technology and it's a fast-growing technology, so I really do think it's a pretty interesting opportunity for people that are just getting started in technology to take a look at least. Well, since I'm a trainer, I do a lot of screencasting and production work. So we use a tool called Camtasia. That's what I do my screen capturing with. That lets me kind of record both my audio as well as the video of my demonstrations as I'm doing things in the console or using what's called the command line interface. So with that, we do some things like editing and some sound editing and sweetening and those kinds of things. And my undergraduate program was in business. I started out as a music major. And more recently, I went to University of North Texas for graduate school and studied behavioral analysis. And then I took a number of other programs at different colleges throughout my years, from instructional design to technology-based learning, those kinds of things. So these days, I'm still kind of a lifelong student, learning as much as I can about the technologies that I find the most interesting. I think if you'd asked me that question 5 years ago, I would have said cloud, even though 5 years ago I didn't really know what cloud meant. These days I'm very deeply into it, and I think it's kind of not accidental. I think how I got exposed to it is somebody that I was involved with back in, I think it's 2009 or so. Went to a speech by Paul Allen, who's one of the co-founders of Microsoft, and he gave a talk about cloud technology. She was actually a reporter for Como in Seattle, and she did a story and basically introduced me to the idea, and I've been kind of excited about it ever since. I later went to work for Amazon Web Services, which is kind of a leading cloud provider, so I've gotten a pretty deep dive over the last 2 or 3 years. That's a good question. I got asked that question just yesterday from my co-author Jonathan Kay, just in a conversation, because he's very much trying to get into this and he's not really sure where to get started. And what I will say is it's kind of a rabbit hole. So the more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn. It's very intimidating. So what I would say is pick a role. You know, there are different roles in cloud, for instance. There are systems administrators, there are developers, that people actually write application code, and then there are what are called solutions architects. I wouldn't sample all of them. I'd say, what do I want to be when I, 5 or 10 years down the road? And if you're a developer, then concentrate on those services that are most relevant to a developer. Learn everything you possibly can, not just scratching the surface, but at a deep level. And there are like 50 plus services on Amazon, so I'd kind of concentrate on 4 or 5, and things like Lambda for utility, what's called serverless compute, maybe a database technology like DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL technology, maybe S3, which is object storage. So these are like 3 or 4 things that you can kind of pick and learn and master and really start writing some cool things and maybe doing a mobile app and start getting some revenue. And then once you get started, then that whatever money you make, you might put back into your business. Right now I'm an independent, so I'm delivering cloud training through a company here in Austin. I also work with a company where I deliver online training on cloud through India. Matter of fact, all of my students are in India. And then I also have a couple of special projects that I'm embarking on with my business partner that is really more about kind of altruistic, give back to the community kinds of work. So those are the 3 things that I have going on right now. I don't know that I ever will. That's why I say it's somewhat altruistic. There is a potential, and I'll just kind of disclose what it is, but we're really looking at taking some of the things that I'm learning in cloud and some of the things that I've been doing with the Raspberry Pi, which is kind of a little $35 utility computer, and building a STEM curriculum, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, that we can package in the form of screencast and lectures and videos and a channel and that kind of thing, and then provide that to public school teachers. That's really kind of our short-term vision and what we're looking to do on that front.